You're watching TVC News at 7. Two oil companies operating in the Niger Delta have now blamed the prevalence of oil theft and pipeline vandalism on host communities. We have details of that report in this package.
Environmental degradation arising from oil spillage has been an issue of concerns across oil-producing states in Nigeria. Farmlands and oceans for fishery have been eroded due largely to the effects of degradation and climate change, which impact negatively on the well-being of the people in the area. This is the crux of the probe by this joint committee of the House of Representatives. Oil companies say theft and vandalism are often responsible for the environmental degradation. Both companies stress the need for legislative interventions that will provide an environment that discourages any act inimical to the economic well-being and ecosystem of the nation.
Southern Niger is a major place where we have spills that have been caused by oil theft events. This is a concern for us, just as it is for AITEO.
It got to a point where, as a company, we would have to stop operations for almost 2 years. The entire OML 29 and Nimbe Creek trunk axis, OML 18, OML 21, OML 29, all of them had to shut down because incessantly, alternative was like we're producing for vandals.
But lawmakers kick against the generalized accusations. They want oil companies to speak to measures being taken to redress the deplorable situations in oil-producing states.
If our people steal crude oil, if our people involved in vandalization, then we should own up and say it. There are always small elements that involve in crime. We should own up that there are these elements that are involved in crime. We should own it. We should protect them. We should be seen doing so in public when we know that the elements are there.
The oil companies say clashes between them and host communities led to the significant drop in production to 700,000 barrels per day in 2018, which later improved through the efforts of combined security stakeholders. AITEO and Oando PLC underscore the importance of a good relationship with host communities, but disclosed that interests often lead to conflicts between oil companies and local communities. Jokeyat, TVC News, Abuja.
Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, says the 4 tax reform bills before the National Assembly will harmonize all tax laws and establishment bills. Jokeyat reports.
Before the National Assembly are 4 bills on tax reforms, which have raised fears among Nigerians about the possibility of an increase in the many taxes already in place. The House Committee on Finance hosts the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, to a probing session on the 4 bills recently sent to the Parliament by President Bola Tinubu. Members of the committee seek further insight into the bills to enable them make informed contributions ahead of its second reading.
These bills before us is not intended or has no proportion for increase of any tax. Neither is it detrimental to the existing system. It is aimed to harmonize and make it easy. For example, if an investor is coming to invest in Nigeria, you can go through any of these 4 books, 4 laws, when passed, and see the areas of his responsibility rather than going to multiple.
For the FIRS, the newly introduced bills are to better reform the tax system and not targeted at merging any government agency or loss of jobs.
Today, you call us Federal Inland Revenue, as if 1, we are only collecting money for federal government. 2, as if we are only collecting money only in Nigeria. As at when the act was formulated, that may be true, possibly. But today, one of the major items we collect as a service is VAT. 85% of this VAT goes to states.
The FIRS chairman says one of the bills will also help in organizing the fiscal framework to pave way for the regulation on monitoring of cryptocurrency in the country.
All the multiplicity of these taxes will reduce. because you now have them in one book, not in different tax books as we have it today.
When passed into law, FIRS is confident they will stimulate the economy and lay a solid foundation for the type of economy envisaged by President Bola Tinubu in the nearest future. Joke Yetsa, TVC News, Abuja.
The Ministry of Finance incorporated Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation and the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas have come together to launch the Credit Access for Light and Mobility Fund. This initiative seeks to provide affordable credit to help Nigerians access CNG conversion kits and other energy-efficient solutions. Helen Osamide-Akins has more.
With the removal of subsidies on fuel and electricity in Nigeria, many citizens have felt the impact on their daily lives and economy. To help mitigate these effects, the government has introduced various measures to support vulnerable groups. Today, another initiative is being unveiled as these three organizations signed a memorandum of understanding to offer Nigerians easy access to loans for converting their vehicles to compressed natural gas and adopting solar energy solutions. The newly launched CAM Fund will begin with an initial seed of 2.5 billion naira from Credit Corps, while the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas will act as the service provider, facilitating vehicle conversions to CNG at authorized centers and offering discounted conversion packages to consumers who use CAM loans.
It is not every time that you need to go buy an item, including the conversion kit, that you have to afford the total amount at once. We want to make it easier for people to live the same quality of life, have access to the facilities without necessarily having to pay for it upfront, which is why the consumer credit comes in.
This kind of scheme has the tendency to attract the investment that will enable these conversion kits to be manufactured domestically. We have another program which down the road also being coordinated with MOFI that will be speaking more to domestic manufacturing capacity for the CNG sector. But I can assure you that this particular program will not just deliver consumer credit to Nigerians, but we also encourage these products to be made in Nigeria.
To qualify for credit, obviously, you have to have an income that is verifiable, and the easier ones are those who are current civil servants or public servants or in white-collar jobs, where the financial institutions can assess you for credit. And once you have that, then the question is just, what is your credit being applied to? And that is where the PICNG would come in. So we are giving up to 15 to 20% discounts.
Nigerians are encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity by applying for the CAM Fund through participating financial institutions. This partnership reflects the collective commitment of the three organizations to support Nigerians at this critical time through innovative financing and life-enhancing solutions. Helen Osamide-Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
Commuters and motorists plying the dilapidated sections of the Warri-Benin axis of the East-West Road can now heave a sigh of relief. Emergency repairs of the failed sections of the road have commenced along the Warri inwards Delta State and Benin in Edo State axis of the Trans-Niger Delta Road, especially the dilapidated sections along Ibaduleme, Amope Roundabout, Musoga, and Ologo. The managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission says this is in compliance with a presidential directive to ameliorate the plight of travelers spending hours and days on the road. Samuel Ogoko says they're committed to the speedy progress of work, particularly on the sections in Ibadumule and Amope Roundabout, Musoga, as well as Ologo.
On behalf of the people of the Niger Delta, thank you to the federal government of Nigeria for at least re-awarding this aspect of the East-West Road, which has been bad for a long time. What the Ministry of Works is doing, they are doing pure decompile. So I haven't had lots of complaints, videos circulating all over the social media of how transporters and even our people are suffering on this road in various junctions, from this Elume junction to Amokpe down to Ulubu, various areas where Vehicles cannot even pass. So we're asked by the president to undertake the remedial work to ensure that while construction is going on, the road is also passable so that we do not also increase the sufferings and the pains of the people.
Lume, that's the first section. Then the next section is Amokwe roundabout. Then we have some other minor sections in between at Mosoga. Even between this place and Amokwe, there are some areas to fix. Then the other major area is Ologbo, where we have a worse situation than what we have here.